This is a speed run of Fusion 360 creating custom scale landing gear for a large scale F16 model. It's a speed run, but I will be slowing it down at critical areas, and I'll also be offering some narration along the way. If you'd like to download this model fully functioning for free, make sure to watch the video till the end. I'll be talking about where you can get this model. This video is part of a series where we'll be talking about complete design from scratch, full through fabrication, and then ultimately flying. So check out the channel page. So to be fair, this all is going to change eventually, but this was my starting point to build the base frame. Here I'm trying to develop at least rough shapes of the geometry for the axles, the brackets where the shock absorbers are held, and the struts, and again try to figure out what angles would be appropriate for this. This will be changing on the fly a bit as we go. Right here I'm going to create a profile that I'm going to revolve. So slowing here just a sec so you can see in real time me using the revolve, selecting an axis and then spinning it around 360 degrees. You'll see me tab over back and forth between Fusion 360 and the video footage that I took, because I'm basically just trying to reference what I'm looking at to replicate this part. So here you'll see I'm basically making the hinge point locations and then extruding this into a solid shape. This tube that I put in the top ultimately won't be used. I'm just trying to define a point of origin that all this gear is going to rotate around, and it's going to be a little different than the real gear, because the real gear, the main axle and wheel actually rotate even further when it comes up into the body, and that just seems like some complexity I just don't want to mess with. I want a scale look, but that's just kind of getting ridiculous. So I'm going to set an angle or experiment with angles to find out what would bring this up into the body and completely clear the wheel inside the fuselage. So you'll see that angle change a number of times. So here I start creating the center strut, kind of the backbone of the whole thing, and once I created one side of it, I used the shell command to make it look a bit like an I-beam, but that only works on one side, so that I mirrored it over. Kind of a quick hack to make an I-beam. What I'm doing with this sketch circle is I'm trying to define exactly the rotation all the way around, because at the end of this there will be so many different components that are rotating at different places, and they all have to be in alignment, or the gear will actually lock in the program and you won't actually be able to get it to retract. So I'm trying to define that sweep ahead of time, and we'll be placing all the geometry along those sweep lines. And here I'm just creating kind of a block out of what the wheel would look like. A little bit further, after I'm happy with the geometry and the motion of it, we'll create a real wheel and tire, but this serves as a dummy wheel for this part. And so now I'm going to test it inside, reference it in and test it inside the body, the fuselage, and see what I have to work with. And spoiler alert, it sticks out. So we got a lot more work to do here. We'll continue to work on this, see if different angles work, a little bit different geometry, and come back to it multiple times, in fact. And there you see me changing the angle, and when I do that I will reference it a little again, and then we'll go back and change the angle yet again. It's much steeper than the real gear would be, but that's because I don't have that pivot down at the axle that the real airplane would have. Liking that when I look in the body, it's coming a little bit closer to that center support, looking a lot better, but we're still not done. So I've slowed this down to just 200% speed now, because what I'm doing here is creating a mirror of the component of the gear as a check, and then I'm going to put the motion linking all together on both sides. So all the joints are in place, and then two of them I'm going to motion link so that when one side retracts, the other will retract with the exact same identical motion. And there you go, see a fancy look of it there. So then I'll take it over to the body of the jet, update the reference to it in just 1 second, and see how that looks. So here I'm starting work on the front support and gear lock mechanism. So I just started this time with a solid circle, and then I'll be kind of cutting pieces out of it. So the parts right now are just simple forms of what they will eventually be, but I'm going to change the joints and then the spacing of these a number of times. Once I'm happy with how they work, then I will model the parts actually to scale. There will be two components to it, an upper and a lower, and each of them needs to be a separate component, and then we will join those together, or place joints that can rotate around at each of those ends. I'm using as-built joints here, so if you don't see me go up and select them, what I'm doing on my keyboard is using Shift and then J, and then selecting each of the components in question. Let's get rid of the Fred Flintstone wheels and start making something a little more true to scale here. I'll start with a profile. Now I'm going to revolve it around the center axis. Since I only had one half, I mirrored it over. And then I start working on the interior hub. So here I am sliding it into place, and something seems amiss. And all of that fancy editing, the wheel's too small. So what I'm going to do here in a moment is I'm going to select the outside of the wheel, and I'm going to use the press pull utility to lengthen the tire to the height that I want. Now I'm adding treads. If I had done a better job on the original sketch, I wouldn't have to take this step, but I was in a bit of a hurry, so I'm adding them after the fact here. I'm making a duplicate of the tire. I'm slightly enlarging it, and then I'm using the join tool with the intersect operation, so that I end up with a tread pattern I want and nothing more. Now I'm going to spend some time making these support braces more scale to the original.
and I can be your everything if you stay. Please just say you're mine. I want you to love me, I need you to stay. Have you found another? Ooh, I want you to love me, and I won't make mistakes. Please just give me something. Ooh, I want you to love me, I need you to stay. Have you found another? Ooh, and I want you to love me, and I won't make mistakes. Please just give me something. I need you. I need you. I want you to love me, I need you to stay. Have you found another? I want you to love me, and I won't make mistakes.
So here, now that everything else is working correctly, I'm putting in the final hinge points for the main gear. Now let's make this thing work. Went over to the Robart Retracts shop and wanted to reference one of their pneumatic cylinders. Got some dimensions off of that, and we're going to use that here so that we can, instead of make that part, purchase it, plug it right into this model later, and we'll make a component that has the same motion linking or motion distances that their part has. So I'm making three components here. One will be the cylinder, one will be the shaft, and then one will be a rotating pin. The shaft uses a slider joint to the cylinder. The cylinder uses a revolute joint around the pin. My workflow for this is once I complete it and I like it, I will save it back out to the drawing list and then import it so that I can duplicate it in multiple places. So if you guys would like to download this model, make sure to visit my website, redbaronrc.com/blog. There will be a section for the F16 build series, and if you click on that section, you'll be able to see the downloadable project files for these video series. Here I'm moving all my final finished components over, making a mirror of them on the other side, and then I'll recreate the joints on these new components to wrap this model up. That pretty much wraps it up. I'm going to be adding some material colors here. If you'd like to see more of this, or you'd like to see the plane that it's going in, and check out the F16 build series on my channel page, or see this video here. Thanks for watching.